New videos releasing every week, make sure to subscribe. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is the 9th film from Quentin Tarantino. The film follows washed-up actor Rick Dalton, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, and his stunt double Cliff Booth, played by Brad Pitt, as they try to keep up with a changing Hollywood. While figuring out their lives, they repeatedly and unknowingly stumble their way into the plotline of the Manson family, as Dalton is the next-door neighbor to actress Sharon Tate, played by Margot Robbie. Note, this is a full spoiler discussion of the film. I made a video a while back ranking Tarantino's films. I mentioned that I regarded several of his films as great, and I hope that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood would make the top 5. The reason I've waited so long to do this video is because I couldn't just review this film on day one. It is so good that it needs a full analysis because this may be Tarantino's most intricate and yes, best film. Right now I would put this movie next to Pulp Fiction as my favorite of his. The film is a hangout movie that you can relax and watch, but it also goes so much deeper as a study of Hollywood. This is a very grand movie with lush cinematography, beautiful locations, and career-defining performances. It's almost 3 hours long, so there is a lot to analyze and discuss. This is potentially Brad Pitt's best performance ever. It's certainly up there with Fight Club and Burn After Reading. As the character of Cliff Booth, he just exerts this cool energy, like he's someone you would want to hang out with. Tarantino, throughout a fair amount of Brad Pitt's screen time, has him do normal day-to-day activities such as driving around LA and feeding his dog, but you could watch it for hours without getting bored because of the nuances in his performance that give you the sense that there is something going on under the surface of this character. In an extended flashback sequence, it is revealed that there are allegations that Booth murdered his wife. A brief sequence of the potential lead up to her murder is shown. It is interesting that Tarantino plants the seed in the viewer's mind and never again mentions it in the film. It makes you question whether Cliff is a redeemable character, given he also kills several people in self-defense at the end of the film. Tarantino is purposefully messing with the audience's emotions. He's giving you this incredibly likable character and then making you feel conflicted about him. However, it is important to remember that this is a fantasy of Hollywood, so maybe in this universe, the allegations are not true and everything is just as it seems. Moving on, the scene where Cliff goes to the Manson family base is a highlight of the film. The build-up of tension as Cliff investigates what's going on is very intense, and the fight over the car is simultaneously cool and impactful. The whole scene just has an eerie feel to it due to Tarantino's masterful use of the camera and the film's music. Margot Robbie's performance is a standout component of the film. While she has the least amount of screen time out of the main three characters, her performance is just as memorable. This is a day-in-the-life film, so we mainly see her walking around Hollywood and watching her movie, but the optimism that is displayed by Margot Robbie as this character has a tragic real-life implication. It also makes you feel hopeful in the context of the film itself. Seeing this character with her acting career ahead of her is a wonderful component that acts as a companion to what is going on in the rest of the film. Most notably, it contrasts Rick Dalton's struggle. Leonardo DiCaprio's character, Rick Dalton, is an actor struggling to find work in Hollywood. He is essentially of a different time and is left behind as the film industry evolves and changes. One of my favourite scenes with Leo in this film is where he has a nervous breakdown in his trailer. We have just seen him be forced to wear a modern costume for this role that basically reflects New Hollywood and what he is struggling to fight against in his career. And seeing him fall apart is very emotional as he is being forced to change. Throughout the film we see this struggle, which makes it all the more satisfying when at the end of the film he meets Sharon Tate, implying new opportunities are on the horizon for him. Seeing these two characters contrast each other throughout the film makes their meeting all the more significant. The parts of this movie with Leo where it's like a film within a film is very impressive. The way the frame changes colour and size gives this movie a unique and distinct feel. The friendship between Rick and Cliff is cinematic gold. The way they interact makes it so believable. There is a scene where they just sit and watch TV and it's incredibly accurate and relatable the way they drink and talk over the dialogue. The ending of the film is great and perfect for the narrative. I would argue Tarantino showcases the most realistic violence he's ever done in this ending. In a film about filmmaking, this creates an almost polarizing contrast between the type of violence shown in the film set scenes and this scene. I mean, for all the controversy that surrounds him about how excessively violent his films are, he usually goes for a more cartoonish style in the way he frames it, such as in Kill Bill and Pulp Fiction. However, in this film, the punches and gunshots have a grounded weight to them that's created through piercing sound effects and detailed blood effects. Even the flamethrower part is displayed in a grounded style. The way the Manson family member burns for a seemingly long time is very graphic. As well as this, Tarantino's choice to leave the violence until the end makes the scene feel all the more impactful as it is built up to and is short. The changing of history concept that Tarantino uses in this movie is the best he's ever done it. It works because the movie throughout is a fantasy about Hollywood where actors get second chances and the film industry is nothing beyond what it seems. It is important to note that Tarantino grew up in Hollywood and was 6 years old in 1969. The implication that this is Tarantino's vision of a Hollywood where good triumphs and corruption fails is not a far-fetched theory. This film is a beautifully realized what-if story, not just about the Manson murders, but Hollywood itself, and it never feels tone deaf. I love that this film is almost 3 hours because there is so much thought-provoking content included in it that warrants multiple viewings, similar to Boogie Nights and Goodfellas, which are some of my favourite films. Tarantino makes this fantasy feel realistic and incredibly believable. I think this film is a masterpiece, it is beautiful, and I hope people eventually begin to talk about it more, because this is a career-defining moment for Tarantino, and I am certain that this film will eventually be recognised as a classic in the future. This was an unforgettable cinematic experience for me, and this movie really promises the future of filmmaking. As you can probably guess, this is my favourite film of the year. If you want to listen to a longer conversation of me talking about the film, there is a SoundCloud link in the description. Thanks for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed.